Picture this. You rise from bed one morning, reach for your phone, and are greeted not by the usual updates, but by a shocking headline. More than $90 million have simply disappeared from the digital world. Not just stolen, but purposefully obliterated, vaporized, erased as if they had never existed. This is not the plot of a futuristic cyber thriller. This is the true story of Nobitex, the largest and most influential cryptocurrency exchange in Iran. Yet, this story is not simply about theft. It is about digital sabotage, an act of economic warfare designed to cripple, to send a message, and to shake the very foundation of the uneasy relationship between technology, finance, and international politics. To fully appreciate the gravity of this event, we need to journey back in time, to understand the origins of Nobitex, the pivotal role of cryptocurrencies in Iran's isolated economy, and the global forces that converge to make this cyber attack one of the most consequential in digital history. Nobitex's story began in the year 2017. Iran, at that time, was already laboring under the weight of severe international sanctions. These sanctions, imposed by Western nations, had effectively cut off Iranian citizens and businesses from the global financial system. For many, the dream of sending money abroad, receiving foreign investment, or even paying for basic international services seemed like a distant memory. Against this bleak backdrop, Nobitex appeared as a beacon, a digital bridge that reconnected millions of Iranians to the outside world, offering hope in the form of decentralized finance. Within its first year, Nobitex surged ahead of its domestic competitors, quickly dominating the country's crypto trading volume. It was more than just a business. It became a critical artery through which financial lifeblood flowed. From tech-savvy teenagers looking to earn from international freelancing gigs, to entrepreneurs seeking foreign investors, to families striving to support loved ones studying overseas, Nobitex played a central role. Even entities with reported connections to the government and the elite Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps found value in this new digital frontier. By some estimates, Nobitex processed billions of dollars in transactions, empowering a new generation of Iranian developers, designers, and small businesses to tap into the global economy. For millions of Iranians, Nobitex was not just another app. It represented resilience, adaptation, and hope in the face of economic exclusion. It enabled parents to pay university tuition for children enrolled abroad, allowed small businesses to import goods, and gave freelancers access to a truly global marketplace. In a nation where access to international payment platforms like PayPal or Visa was impossible, Nobitex became a transformative tool, a symbol of technological ingenuity, and, for many, a lifeline. However, such rapid growth and critical importance did not come without controversy. Over time, investigative journalists and blockchain analysts, including well-known firms like Chainalysis, began uncovering a far more complex reality. On the surface, Nobitex was a savior for ordinary Iranians. Beneath, it was entangled in allegations of facilitating illicit financial flows. Certain sources alleged that groups under heavy Western sanctions, including ransomware operators linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard, as well as networks affiliated with organizations like Hamas and the Houthis of Yemen, were using Nobitex as a conduit to move funds internationally, circumventing traditional restrictions. The complexity only deepened as blockchain forensics revealed wallet addresses linked to illicit actors, some reportedly associated with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei's circles. These allegations, whether fully proven or not, cast a long shadow over Nobitex's operations and made it a focal point in the ongoing struggle between Iran and the Western world. United States policymakers, including Senators Elizabeth Warren and Angus King, publicly voiced concerns about the role of cryptocurrencies and platforms like Nobitex in enabling Iran to sidestep sanctions and potentially finance militant groups. It was against this tense, fraught backdrop that the fateful attack occurred. In the pre-dawn hours, a highly organized hacking collective going by the name Predatory Sparrow, or Gonjeshka Darande in Farsi, launched a meticulously orchestrated assault on Nobitex. This group, cloaked in secrecy and widely believed by cybersecurity experts to have links with Israeli intelligence, did not follow the familiar playbook of cybercriminals. They did not quietly siphon off funds and disappear. Instead, they executed a plan that left the global cybersecurity community stunned. First, Predatory Sparrow penetrated Nobitex's digital defenses, exploiting weaknesses in access controls. Hakan Unal of Cyvers, a cybersecurity firm, later described failures at nearly every level, from administrative permissions to basic security hygiene. Within hours, the hackers seized control over vast reserves of digital assets: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and a range of other cryptocurrencies. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Instead of attempting to launder these assets through the dark corners of the internet, Predatory Sparrow did something unprecedented. They transferred the entire haul, over $90 million worth, into blockchain wallets that were publicly visible and, crucially, designed to burn the assets. These wallets were programmed to make the funds permanently inaccessible, effectively destroying them. Embedded within these transactions were explicit messages condemning the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and accusing Nobitex of facilitating state-sanctioned money laundering and funding for militant proxies. Andrew Fearman, head of National Security Intelligence at Chainalysis, was quick to point out the significance. This was not about making money. This was a calculated political statement, a declaration of cyber war through the destruction of value. The shockwaves were immediate. Nobitex's website and mobile applications were forcibly taken offline. Millions of users found themselves suddenly locked out, unable to access their funds, check balances, or even view their transaction histories. Panic erupted across Iranian social media. Anecdotes surfaced of freelancers unable to pay rent, students stranded abroad with no access to tuition payments, and families fearing for their hard-earned savings. Yet the attackers were not finished. In the days that followed, Predatory Sparrow released what they claimed was the full source code of Nobitex, along with a vast trove of internal documents. This raised enormous concerns within the cybersecurity community. Leaking source code and operational documents does not just expose a company to copycat attacks. It hands a blueprint to cybercriminals and hostile intelligence agencies alike. Security analysts warned that the long-term fallout could include new waves of attacks, insider threats, and further destabilization of Iran's fragile digital economy. What makes the Nobitex attack truly unique is not just the scale, but the motive. Unlike the infamous Mt. Gox collapse in Japan or the huge CoinCheck breach, both driven by profit, this was an act of economic sabotage. The hackers, by their own admission, sought not to enrich themselves but to destabilize Iran's digital financial infrastructure, send a chilling warning to those using technology to dodge international rules, and punish those deemed complicit in supporting Iran's nuclear and military ambitions. Blockchain analytics firm Elliptic provided further insights, reporting that the attackers embedded anti-Iranian Revolutionary Guard messages directly within the blockchain transactions themselves. This was a digital calling card, a public accusation that Nobitex had enabled the Iranian regime to funnel money to militant proxies and evade sanctions, at a time when tensions in the Middle East were already running high. Indeed, the timing of the attack was no accident. In the days immediately preceding the hack, hostilities between Israel and Iran had sharply escalated. Israeli forces reportedly targeted nuclear and military sites within Iran, which provoked retaliatory missile attacks. As if in coordination, Predatory Sparrow also claimed responsibility for a destructive data wipe at Bank Sepah, a major state-owned Iranian lender, just days before striking Nobitex. The impression was clear. This was part of a deliberate, coordinated campaign aimed at crippling Iran's economic and military infrastructure through digital means. The global ramifications are immense. Analysts at Chainalysis and TRM Labs warn that this event marks a historic turning point, the moment when decentralized, borderless finance collided with the harsh realities of geopolitical conflict. Governments and non-state actors alike are awakening to the dual nature of digital assets. They are not just tools of innovation, but also potent weapons in economic warfare. The lines separating economic competition from outright cyber war are blurring, with cryptocurrency exchanges now strategic targets in a new global contest for power. For ordinary Iranians, the impact has been nothing short of catastrophic. The loss of more than $90 million worth of digital assets represents a devastating financial setback. But the psychological blow may be even greater. In a society already battered by inflation, unemployment, and years of economic isolation, the Nobitex hack is a painful reminder of the fragility of digital promises. Confidence in the safety and reliability of Iran's largest exchange has been deeply shaken, with many citizens now questioning whether any online platform can truly be trusted. The long-term consequences, however, could be even more profound. Experts caution that the Nobitex hack signals the dawn of a new era, one in which digital proxy wars become routine and code is weaponized to destabilize rival economies. The borderless nature of cryptocurrencies creates new arenas for conflict, arenas that cannot be easily contained by firewalls, traditional sanctions, or legal frameworks. With just a few lines of code, state and non-state actors can now reach across continents, undermining economic infrastructure and disrupting lives with unprecedented speed. In response, Iranian authorities have moved swiftly to tighten control over the digital asset ecosystem. Exchange curfews, enhanced security measures, and sweeping internet blackouts are now standard. Credible reports suggest Tehran is accelerating its plans for a central bank digital currency, the so-called digital rial. The goal is clear: regain state control over financial flows, curtail the reach of decentralized platforms, and reduce exposure to hostile foreign actors. By erecting a digital walled garden, the government hopes to shield the economy from future attacks, though at the cost of increased surveillance and restrictions on digital freedoms. Globally, the Nobitex incident has become a case study for regulators, cybersecurity experts, and financial technologists. TRM Labs, a leading risk management firm, has issued stern warnings. Cryptocurrency exchanges operating in high-risk or sanctioned jurisdictions are now strategic targets. These platforms are no longer just lucrative honeypots for opportunistic hackers. They are battlegrounds in a new kind of cyber-enabled economic warfare. The message is unequivocal. Any entity facilitating cross-border capital flows in countries under sanctions must be prepared for attacks not motivated by greed, but by the intent to disrupt, destroy, and send political messages. Let's step back and place this in historical context. The weaponization of economic tools is not new. In the 20th century, blockades and sanctions were used to starve nations of resources. For example, during the Second World War, Allied blockades aimed to deprive Nazi Germany of vital materials, crippling its war machine. In the 1990s, the United States and its allies imposed sweeping sanctions on Iraq, seeking to isolate Saddam Hussein's regime. Today, the battlefield has shifted to cyberspace. Instead of ships and embargoes, it is software exploits, ransomware, and blockchain transactions, silent, invisible, and often untraceable, that can bring an entire sector to its knees. For investors, entrepreneurs, and ordinary users, the lessons are sobering. First, cybersecurity is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. The basic steps, using strong, unique passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, safeguarding private keys, and regularly auditing the security of platforms, are not optional. The Nobitex breach shows that even the largest, most established exchanges are vulnerable. If they can fail, so can any smaller platform or individual wallet. Third, and perhaps most unsettling, is the realization that technological innovation always carries a double edge. While digital finance promises access, inclusion, and empowerment for billions, it also introduces unprecedented vulnerabilities. The same code that enables cross-border payments can be twisted to destroy value, disrupt economies, or undermine trust in entire systems. As the Nobitex saga shows, the most devastating attacks may not be motivated by money, but by power, ideology, and the desire to send a message. Looking ahead, the aftershocks of the Nobitex breach will likely reverberate for years. In Iran, expect a renewed push for regulation, surveillance, and centralized control. The drive for a digital rial will intensify as authorities seek to fence off financial flows within systems they can monitor. For citizens, this could mean harsher restrictions on peer-to-peer trading, greater scrutiny of every transaction, and a further narrowing of already limited paths to the global economy. But amidst the gloom, there are rays of hope. The Nobitex hack, as painful as it is also a catalyst for positive change. It compels governments, companies, and individuals to face uncomfortable truths, invest in robust defenses, and design systems that are not only innovative, but also resilient. Lessons learned will inform the next generation of digital finance, leading to smarter regulation, more secure protocols, and potentially greater international cooperation to prevent similar incidents. So what can you do? Stay informed and vigilant. Follow trusted sources on cybersecurity and global economics. Question the security practices of any platform you use. Diversify your holdings. Consider cold storage solutions, spread assets across reputable exchanges, and be skeptical of offers that seem too good to be true. In an era where cyber threats can emerge from anywhere, personal vigilance is your best ally. Ultimately, the Nobitex hack is a wake-up call for the world. It is a stark reminder that in our interconnected, fast-evolving digital landscape, No system is truly immune to the forces of politics, ambition, and conflict. The promise of decentralized finance remains real, but so do the risks. The question we all must ask is simple. Are we prepared for this new era of economic warfare? Does the empowerment offered by technology justify the exposure to new and ever-changing threats? We want to hear from you. Is the dream of borderless, decentralized finance still alive in this age of cyber conflict? Or are we witnessing a relentless crackdown on digital freedom? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives at the crossroads of global economics and technology. And above all, stay vigilant.